Good morning, world. Hey, Sunday morning, a day of rest, a much needed day of rest. It is also a holiday weekend, it's Labor Day weekend. And the other night, Friday night, me and my wife went out to dinner. And this after making dinner for the whole family that was home. And on our way back from dinner, we decided to stop and get a cup of coffee and talk about God and love and life some more. And I noticed this man obviously had been living on the street for a while, was shivering as I'm making my coffee, and he's reaching around through his pockets, also making himself a coffee right across the way from me. And I noticed that he's shivering, and you can just see the pain and the hurt in his eyes, and the feeling that you knew you had back in the day before you found Jesus, is that he was lost. And I go around the other side, and there's already a security guard standing behind him, and he's yelling to the front to the counter, saying, "Is this guy trouble?" And the cash register said, "Well, look at him. Doesn't he look like trouble?" To me, he looked like somebody lost, somebody that had nothing, that he could be trouble to anybody but himself. And I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Is there anything I can do for you? Do you know Jesus loves you?" And he goes, "I know. I know he does." And he starts telling me the story of how he got to where he was. And the first thing he says was, my my wife did this, my wife did that. And then he goes, "You know what? At some point you just have to look in the mirror and realize that it wasn't my wife, it was myself that made all this happen to me. And I know I have to do better." And I asked him again, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And he said, "No, no, I got this." And I was like, "Would you like something to eat?" And he said, "No, no, I just ate this morning." And this is like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I said, "Hey, no, anything. I'll get you a sandwich. It'll keep." And he said, "Thank you. Yeah, that'd be nice. But can I just have a Sprite?" I said, "You know what, man? Go get yourself a Sprite." And he comes back, and then I take him over to the thing. I was like, "Here, have a sandwich." And he was like, "Oh, thank you so much. It's my birthday." And I was like, "It's your birthday." So I ended up getting him this, like, this pudding kind of like parfait thing, they called it. And I said, "Here, happy birthday." And then we got back in line, and there's quite a few people in front of us, and everybody keeps turning around and looking. And I'm just super close to this man. I'm looking him in the eyes, and I'm asking his story, and I'm telling him that it's okay, that everything will be okay if you stop looking for tomorrow and just look for today. Look for Jesus today and make a difference, the smallest difference. And we get up to the thing, and the cash register, the register guy, the cashier, was almost not even wanting to allow me. He's like, "Is this for you?" And I was like, "This is for all of us." And he was almost angry that he had to ring up stuff for this man who had nothing. He had a backpack on his back and the clothes on his body, and that was it. And he tells me how he used to be a mason, and how he, for 25 years, he had this company, and then everything just kind of fell apart, starting with his marriage. And he hadn't had time to do anything but live on the streets and do the drugs that he had been doing. And as we walked out of the thing, I gave him, put my hand on the shoulder, and I gave him a hug, and I was just like, You can do anything with Jesus, and he will always love you. You just have to love yourself enough to know that all the stuff that you did in the past, it doesn't matter now. It's already been done. What matters is what's in your heart and what's in your future. And being free from fear of not being worthy, fear of not being loved, fear of all these things. No longer has to be a problem, because Jesus has paid that price for your sin. And now all you have to do is love in him like he loves in you. And we shook hands. He told me his name, and I told him my name. And I've seen him around before, and I know I've given him money before, but I've never actually stood and talked to him. And I hope and I pray, and I hope that he finds what he needs. And I know he's already in safe hands, because at least he knows Jesus' name. So, moral to the story, other than the story itself being tragic, is we could all be that man. I could have been that man a million times, and as though I was broken inside, and outside you could say I had everything I needed, I'm still no different than him. I still have sinned, I still have done horrible things. We need to find a way to be better and realize that we're no better than anybody else. But we have this great ability to do so much amazing things, and it's only because it's the gift that God has given us. So the next time that you think that you're better or you're worse than anybody, you're not. Just do what you know is right in your heart. Do what you know Jesus would do. And yeah, I see all the time people, even in my Bible app, and people praying and stuff like that, they say surround yourself with good, godly, great people, and surround yourself with all this goodness and stuff like that. But we are surrounded by all this goodness all the time. This life is goodness. This creation is God's. We are God's creation. And Jesus never shied away from going to the people that needed him most. Lilo. And it had nothing to do whether they went to church or that they believed that they were going to somewhere better, or that they were better because they went to church. And I'm not saying, believe me, I'm not saying going to church or anything like that makes you better or worse than anybody else either. But if we're going to make a difference, does it help that we go to places that people already know God, or at least know his name? Or does it just help that because we are surrounded, our heart is surrounded with God, that it doesn't matter the evil that around us, because it is everywhere, and we can shine through and help people know his goodness. May God bless us all. One love is Jesus. Please try to do better. I know I look for that every day. I try to be a person that I know that I've already failed at. And I try to show people that it doesn't matter where you're at in life, there's always a better. There's always love. May God bless us all. Have a good day. Happy holiday.